the battle axe of democracy. The American whip, often used by Washington against the enemies of the USA. And now also a headache for the Russian dictator.
What is this? They lost their mind?
Germany, with the aim of containing the aggressive Federation, supported the deployment of American Tomahawk missiles on its territory.
The military political leadership of Russia has long been targeting European capitals.
So, let's delve together in depth into this American defender of democratic interests, its impressive technical characteristics, main advantages, and a few notable features and characteristics, as well as why the strategic deployment of American Tomahawks in Europe has so alarmed the Kremlin elders and its potential implications.
Let's begin. You can't call Peskov's statement about the deployment of the Tomahawk anything other than hysterical.
With the fact that the Tomahawk is not just a missile, but a whole family of Spanish-American multi-purpose, high-precision, subsonic, long-range cruise missiles. The Tomahawk is available in both strategic and tactical versions. The development of the missile began in 1972. It was the Cold War, arms race, and Soviet Union had a significant lead in development of cruise missiles, especially in the segment of operational tactical naval weapons. And it was the Tomahawks that managed to change the balance of power. After 10 years in 1983, the administration of Ronald Reagan adopted the Tomahawks into service. A year later, the US president, while testing the microphone before a TV address, uttered a momentous phrase, supposedly unaware that it would become public knowledge.
My fellow Americans and fellow citizens, I am pleased to inform you today with great satisfaction that I have officially signed a decree outlawing Russia for all time. The bombing will begin in 5 minutes.
The name Tomahawk missile was given in honor of the Native American battle axe which they skillfully threw at their enemies. However, unlike the Tomahawks of the Native Americans, Tomahawk missiles are not only land-based, but also submarine and surface-based. An air-launched Tomahawk was also developed. But it lost out to the AGM-86A missile from Boeing.
It's really drying up. Therefore, the uniqueness of these launch systems and consequently the cruise missiles is, well, let's say the inability to detect the launch systems.
Decades of operation, hundreds of combat uses, and the experience gained with them have all contributed to the constant modernization of cruise missiles.
This accordingly and takes into account the possibility of electronic warfare, and the capabilities to counteract electronic interference have been enhanced. Plus, the warhead has been improved. By the way, the warhead is about 260 kilograms, a serious weapon. And accordingly, I emphasize once again the tactical and technical characteristics. This is the flight range and, most importantly, the target's radius of impact.
Thus, for Europe, and in particular Germany, the Tomahawk becomes a sort of security guarantee in the face of potential aggression from the Russian Federation.
Peskov didn't say anything new as the position is well known. The Russian military political leadership has long been targeting European capitals. It's about deterrence. The weapon must be long-range and very precise. It should prevent any intention to attack Germany.
As we have already discussed, the Tomahawk is an entire family of cruise missiles. Currently, there are 9 main modifications which have their own subtypes and upgrades. The most modern is Block 5. Its cost is estimated at $1 million. Meanwhile, prices for older models start at $600,000. Overall, the technical characteristics of the Tomahawk are as follows. The length of the missile is meters. The wingspan is meters. The weight, depending on the modification, starts at 1,180 kilograms and reaches up to 1.5 tons. The weight of the warhead is an impressive 450 kilograms. The speed is subsonic at 880 kilometers per hour. The range, thus again, depends on the modification, from 870 km to 2,500 km. The current classic variant is 1600, 1800 kilowatt. The accuracy of hitting the target is from 5 to 80 meters. The control and guidance system of the cruise missile is a combination of subsystems, namely inertial, terrain contour matching TERCOM, and electro-optical correlation DSMAC. Despite decent technical specifications, new technologies have emerged in Kyiv this year. Perhaps the main advantage of the American missile is its quantity. In total, taking into account the missiles sold and already used, more than 7,300 Tomahawks have been produced. According to various estimates, about 2,000 missiles have been used in combat conditions. The American Army still has about 4,000 Tomahawks in service. And here it's quite simple. The more missiles you launch, the more of them will break through the enemy's air defense. This is the principle of using these missiles. American destroyers, for example, can carry up to 56 missiles. An Ohio-class submarine, just think about it, can carry up to 154 Tomahawks. And by the way, the US has as many as 18 of these submarines. Tomahawks are subsonic missiles, which means they can be intercepted by conventional air defense systems and aviation. Essentially, the most effective weapon against Tomahawks is layered air defense. The American battle axe is similar to the Russian Kalibrs, which have been intercepted and shot down multiple times by Ukrainian air defense forces. Tomahawks, in turn, were shot down in the skies over Iraq, Bosnia, and Serbia. In all cases, the local authorities used Soviet air defense systems and aircraft. However, the Soviet air defense systems did not last long. The US relied on quantity, which allowed them to break through the enemy systems. After that, the US established full control over the skies in the combat zone. For example, in 1998, during Operation Desert Fox in Iraq, 370 Tomahawks were used, of which only 13 missed their targets.
This is a weapon that has been constantly improved. 11 wars that the United States of America has fought, according to data, since it was adopted into service. This is what makes them unique. That is, the tactical and technical characteristics are taken into account, as well as changes in the range of enemy target systems. And modifications are made directly to the modernization of the cruise missile itself.
The bombings of Yugoslavia, as well as numerous military operations in Iraq, Libya, and Syria. All these are examples of the use of Tomahawks in offensive operations. In the case of deploying cruise missiles in Germany, it is about defense and deterrence. And if we extrapolate the capabilities of American missiles to the Russian-Ukrainian war, and for a moment imagine transferring Tomahawks to Ukraine, the defense would look as follows. The range of the missiles would be sufficient to carry out strikes against all carriers of cruise and ballistic missiles in the European part of Russia. This includes ground-based systems like the Iskanders, surface ships carrying Kalibrs, as well as airfields with aircraft carrying missiles. Despite this, to great regret, American Tomahawks will not defend Ukraine.
If at the moment there is even a question about the United States prohibiting strikes on the territory of the Russian Federation using operational tactical complexes with a range of 300 kilometers, then accordingly the transfer of cruise missiles with a range of 2,500 kilometers is not even considered, theoretically.
And yet, despite the past merits of the Tomahawks, technology does not stand still. For example, Kalibr is similar to Tomahawks. We know that missiles flying at subsonic speeds are not the most difficult target for modern air defense systems. Therefore, right now, the US is working on completing its program for developing hypersonic missiles, which will replace Tomahawks as the main carrier of American democracy. That's all for now. Don't forget to write in the comments about which types of weapons you would like to learn more about. Like this video and of course subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new episodes of Arsenal,